my YouTube friends, and in today's video we are going to be doing another review video. As you guys can see, I do have a two-toned look. Again, I'm actually really enjoying doing these looks. The reason behind today's look is because I wanted to use every shade in the new Norvina Mini Pro palette. This is the volume 2. There's also a volume 1. It's kind of odd to me that there isn't a volume 3 considering there are 3 of the bigger palettes. I don't know if there's another one that we'll be releasing, but I did pick up volume 2. Volume 1 is a little bit more red and purple toned, and I just really liked this one a lot better. So this is the one I picked up. This is actually the last item I bought for October for my no buy, or for my low buy. But in today's video, I wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of a summary of my overall thoughts about ABH releasing these palettes, because I am a little bit torn and I have some mixed feelings about it, as well as I want to tell you how I actually feel about the palette itself. This is a pigment palette, which means it's not technically eye safe. More than likely that's just because it probably stains. That's not a big deal to me. I use it all over my eyes. I don't have any irritation or anything. And I generally do have more sensitive eyes. So Norvina, who is Anastasia's daughter, she's kind of, I don't know what role she plays in the brand, if she's like the creative director, but I think she's pretty active in the company. A couple months ago, she came out with the Norvina Pro palette volume 1. On a palette, I don't think people were expecting, I don't know that Norvina herself was expecting to launch the next 2 volumes as close as they were. And for being large palettes, these make them pretty expensive. So they are around $65 each, and they all released within about a month and a half of each other. And if you're a die-hard ABH fan, you're going to want to pick up all of these palettes. I decided not to buy any of the larger palettes just because I don't like larger palettes anymore. I would much prefer a 9-pan mini. I think a lot of people also prefer these 9-pan mini palettes, which kind of makes me a little torn with this palette. Had I known these were coming out, I think most people would not have bought the bigger palettes. That could just be me thinking that people want smaller palettes, but I would be livid if I would have bought the other palettes and then they came out with these $29 9-pan palettes after that. In my opinion, this is what the Norvina palettes should have been. They should not have been these large, massive palettes. They should have just been small palettes like this. These are much more reasonably priced, and I think they're more curated to the colors that people would actually want. So as someone who really likes Anastasia Beverly Hills, I have so many of their palettes. I decided to skip their Pro palettes just because I was overwhelmed. I thought the color selection in each one was confusing. I didn't get it, and I was just overwhelmed looking at them. So I think a lot of people were in that of, they just felt overwhelmed with everything. These minis are such a smart idea. The color selection, you have to edit yourself if you're doing 9 shadows. And that's what they did. I think they took the best of what was in these larger palettes and narrowed it down. This is what it should have been from the start. I am a little confused with why there are only 2 of these mini palettes when there are 3 of the larger palettes, especially considering that I think this palette, which they're calling the volume 2, really represents the volume 3 Norvina palette a lot more than the volume 2. The volume 2 had a lot more of the blues and greens, which this one does have, but this one also picks up the oranges, the yellows, and the purples that are more in the 3rd palette. So I don't know if they are planning on coming up with another palette a little later. Again, it's just, why is that? That's so weird to me. If you're going to release them, if you're going to release 3 palettes and then 2 mini palettes, why would you call this the volume 2 when it looks nothing like the volume 2 larger palette, when the volume 1 mini palette looks pretty much like it was pulled from the volume 1 of the larger palettes? I hope that makes sense. That was a lot of back and forth. I'm going to put pictures on the screen just so you guys will kind of see what I'm talking about. But it makes no sense to me why ABH would do this. And then if they are going to come out with another palette, it's like, why would you release 1 and 2 first? Release 1, then release 2, then release 3, or release them all at the same time. It's just weird timing. And that's how I think a lot of people felt with the larger palettes. They came out so close together. I think volume 2 and volume 3 came out within like a week of each other. These are $65 eyeshadow palettes, and they came out within a week of each other. That's crazy. If you're wanting people to buy your palettes, that's not affordable. You need to leave people wanting more, not just like shoving so much down your throat. I know a lot of times people drag ColourPop for this, but the thing is, ColourPop is affordable. They come out every single week with new releases, but they are affordable. These were $65 eyeshadow palettes. That is outrageous to pump 3 of them out within a month and a half. Okay, a little bit of a rant there just because that makes me quite heated because I didn't like those palettes, and I think I wanted to love those palettes because there was so much potential and they were just like so poorly executed in my opinion, and these are just so much better that it just angers me that this was not the first release. Okay, moving on. I think this palette is amazing. In the demo you will see I did 2 different looks just because I did want to make sure I used every single shadow. Even though this is more of a first impression, I did want to let you guys know my first impression of every single shadow. In order to do that, I felt like I needed to do 2 separate looks. And so that's what I did here today, and I hope you guys can see in my demo that I didn't have any issues with any of the shadows. I thought they were all really great. They work really well. They blended really well. The pigmentation is crazy. It is so good. It is a more powdery formula, which is typical for an ABH formula. It's all of their typical ABH formula is very much powdery. I really like the packaging on this. This is a plastic. I thought at first it was a tin, but it is a plastic, and it has a nice magnetic close. It seems pretty sturdy inside. The only thing I will point out is this bottom shade, this green duochrome, is a little bit flaky. Let me see. I don't know if you guys can see, but it is, yeah, it just like flaked off. It is a lot more flaky compared to the other shadows. But again, that's pretty common for shades like shimmer shades like that, so I wasn't surprised or caught off guard by it being a little flaky. The only thing I would just tell you is to go in, spray your brush. I didn't, and I did get fallout, but since I did my eyes beforehand, it wasn't a huge issue. Typically, I like to use my fingers to pat on shades like this, and so that's why I did do my eyes first, just because I normally get fallout when I do that method, just because it's on my finger. It's messy. I'm a messy person. I really liked this, guys. I think this is definitely worth the $29. I wish this is what all of the Norvina palettes could have been, because this is what they should have been. Please, please make more of these. These are fantastic. You're right around the same price mark of the Huda palettes with that $29. This is pretty much the same size as the Huda palettes. It's small, it's compact, it fits in your hand. This is great for traveling. As you can see, you guys can get a variety of looks with just these 9 shades. This mirror is really nice. It stands up on its own, which is perfect for when you are traveling. Sometimes with like the ColourPop palettes, they don't really stay up on their own, even with the mirrors. So it's really nice that these plastic ones do. They can prop up. But all around, I will probably pick up the smaller volume 1, but this is the one I liked the most. But I thought this was a great palette, everybody. And so we're gonna get into the demo portion of this, and we are testing out the new Norvina Volume 2 Mini Pro palette. So my lids are primed now, so we are going to go straight in to this palette. The shade names are on here. I'm holding it upside down, but this is what it looks like. They're like, the shade names, even though they are, is like A1, A2, A3, so it's not like super helpful, because I mean, it's just numbers and a letter. So I am going to go in, I think, I haven't really decided what I want to do. But I think I'm first going to go in with this matte, like muted yellow shade. And I'm going to take that on a Sigma E35, just a fluffier brush. And I'm just going to tap in. It does have a lot of kick up. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it is have quite a bit of kick up. And it does have a mirror, which is great. So I'm just going to go straight in to my crease. It's showing up pretty well for just lightly tapping in. I'm going to go a bit more. Kind of see if we can build that up a bit. So that looks pretty good for now. So I'm now going to go in with my E25 and go into the shade next to it, that green shade. It's a bit of a, again, this is pretty powdery. So I'm just going to kind of tap this more into the transition, or more into the crease. And then I'm just going to blend this in a bit. These are blending out really nicely. The pigmentation is showing up pretty well. These are the more muted shades. They're really showing up, I feel like. Sorry guys, I had to make some changes. So again, this is tapping on. This is really pigmented. This is looking really nice. So I'm just going to lightly blend up into the crease a bit more to fade more into that yellow. I'm going to go back in with that yellow and just kind of try to blend those edges a bit more. Okay, so that is what we are looking like right now. I'm going to go in and deepen up with that teal shade. I'm just going to use the color switch and clean off my E25. And I'm going to actually, yeah, I am going to tap that teal on just lightly on my brush. I'm going to just go in the outer corner with this and bring it in on my lid. Again, this is still pretty powdery, but that's pretty typical for the ABH formula, so that's nothing I wasn't expecting already. I'm just going to try to buff this in a bit just to kind of fade inwards. I'm going to bring this down too. So I'm going to take a Luxie mini taper. This is a 121. And I'm going to go in just a little bit. I don't have anything on this brush. I just kind of want to blend this a bit more. That is what that is looking like at the moment. So far I'm really liking this. So I'm going to go in with, this is the bottom shade. So I'm going to go in with this bottom shade, which is C2. I believe this is like a duochrome. Oh, that's pretty powdery too. Yeah, this is a duochrome. I'll have swatches and everything for you guys. So I'm just going to tap this all over my lid. This looks really similar to one of the shadows from the Mini Gold palette in the Natasha Denona. So this left quite a bit of glitter fallout all over my face. That's not a big deal to me at the moment. So that is what the eye look is looking like. I think I'm going to take the yellow a little bit more into like my inner corner almost. And see if I can build that up a little bit more there. I will be putting an inner corner highlight on it as well. I think I'm going to, just for the sake of I want to use this palette as much as I can, I'm going to use the very middle shade B2. It is like a really pretty duochrome from what I've seen in swatches. I haven't swatched any of these yet. I'm just kind of going with it. So I'm going to just see if I can put that in the middle inner corner here. Okay, so that's what that is looking like. What do you guys think? I like that so far. I'm going to do some stuff on my lower lash line. So that is what that eye is looking like. I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye now. So I'm actually going to do another look with this palette. I'm going to move my mirror over here. And I'm going to do a two-tone look because I want to use every shade so I know how every shade performs. I'm going in first with this yellow again, just sloppily putting this on. Okay, now I'm going to go in with orange on the top, just like all the others, pretty powdery, pretty standard. And I'm going to just start tapping this in. Okay, so I'm going to go in same brush, I'm not going to swipe it off, down into the lower orange. So this is a lot more like in your face. I thought this was going to be much more of like a burnt orange than it is when I bought this. So now I'm going to go in to this bottom purple and I'm just going to tap this on my lid here. What that is looking like. I think I'm just going for under my waterline to use the bottom shade just because I still need to use that one. I've used all the others now. I am going to take that middle B2 shade again, that peach. I'm just going to tap this in my inner corner. Yeah, that is both the eye looks. I'm going to clean this up, do the rest of my makeup, and then I will be right back. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks. Bye!